I mentioned attention span. People don't read your web pages. They don't read much of the text. This is data from 7 years ago by someone who looks at this stuff a lot. And he found that even then, 20%, people were most likely to read about 20% of the words on your website. So all that wonderful information that you spent time writing, convincing people, telling the story, asking them to give, they're not seeing it. And in the last 7 years, do you think our attention span has got longer or shorter? It is. It's shorter. So cut the amount of text on your website. You need to make it far more focused on conversion. Tell people why they're there, what they can do, and a button or some call to action to tell them what to do on that page. If it's just lots and lots of text, it won't work. It's hard. It's very hard. You should have a look at your site and check that it's really well designed. Have a look on the search results that any donor or potential donor would find if they searched for you on Google or other search engines. What text crops up here? What's the link? It should be your organization name and then the words that describe what you do, your strapline, your mission. If it says something like home or default, you are wasting a valuable opportunity. Many, many charities have their title as home. So if you want to be found by people searching Google for the word home, great, keep it as it is. If you want to be found by people searching for helping children, curing cancer, providing shelters for animals, then make sure the text has changed. That text matters a great deal to Google and helps people find you. There is always a way of improving whatever website you've got. And one of the biggest opportunities, missed opportunities, has been going on for 10 or 20 years, depending on how long you've had a website. And that's your error page. You know that page when you come to a website and find that the page doesn't exist? You usually get a very boring message which says 404 error, page not found. Very dull. You can control that. Do you know that page is probably going to be one of the top 5 most visited pages on your site? There are people reaching it now, and they're seeing that boring message. I'm going to suggest you as fundraisers get in ahead of any other colleagues you've got and put a fundraising message on that page. It doesn't have to be a straight ask because you're helping someone find the information they need. But maybe there are clever ways of doing it. Quite a few charities say, I'm sorry that page doesn't exist. Here are the 5 most common pages people are looking for. And guess what? At number 2 and number 3, I'd put your donate button or your sign up to become a member or sign up for our email. There are ways of using that page that many, many charities just don't do. Sometimes you can just be fun. That's the Dogs Trust's error page. If you come to that page, you get a lovely picture of a little puppy. For those of us not working with cute animals, you might have to think of something else. Make sure you do encourage people to share content. You may not use Facebook, Twitter, and so on for your organization. You may not have time, but your supporters do. Find out the number of people that use these channels. Find out the people that are using these channels and coming through to your website from your Google Analytics. Encourage people to share, to get your fundraising message out to a broader audience. Does that have a fundraising value? Actually, it does. Just Giving found this a few years ago. They found that for every like, every Facebook like, that drove back another 6, or for every 6 likes on a fundraising page on Just Giving, that drove back 1 new donor. That won't happen to you. Just Giving is an unusual site. It's just about fundraising and about giving. But they could measure the value of a Facebook like. Roughly, it was worth about £5 on average. Sometimes you have to take the opportunities when they arise, and they are very short-lived. When you give to charity, you feel good. There is even scientific analysis which points to the parts of the brain that light up when you give, when you do something good. Here's an example I spotted when my son, he was about 9 years old, we decided not to give him plastic bags at his birthday party to give out cake and other rubbish to his friends. We said, this is the money we would have spent on plastic bags. Here's a website, and we pointed him at some charity websites. Said, go and spend it and see what difference it can make. So you can tell he's the son of a fundraiser. So he went onto the Oxfam site and was so pleased with what the money could do, he immediately wanted to tell his grandparents and his aunt, the people he loved. And he didn't have a phone at that point, that was my phone, not at 9 years old. And he said, just now on Oxfam, we bought a mosquito net and feed a family set, safe water for 10 people, and donated £3 instead of my party bags, but I don't mind. And there's jargon for that. That's called social commerce. When someone has just bought something or donated, they feel good. And at that short time, it's only going to last a minute. If you can encourage them to share that good feeling, many of them will. So in other words, look at the pages on your site. When people make a donation or fill in a form to volunteer or something, the thank you page at the end, why not encourage people, would you like to share this? You may think people won't. I thought that. You may think people would never brag, would never show off about giving. They do. And that's a good thing, because that drives more people back to your charity's website. Here it is on Just Giving. Are you on Facebook? Would you like to post your donation on Facebook? Would you like to show off what a wonderful person you are? From the beginning, 1 in 5 people have done. That goes out to their friends and family, who then see that their brother, their sister, their husband, their daughter has just given. They think, oh, okay, I'll go and have a look at that. Did that work? Oh, actually, well, as we heard earlier today, 10:15 this morning, I don't know who actually said it in the audience, but during Daryl's presentation, someone said, in Portugal, you have to look at the value of the network. That is looking at the value of the network. Get this good feeling out there and tell other people. Give them the opportunity to tell their network. What's the value of that? Just Giving tracked that, and in the first month, that brought in an additional £152,000 because people showed off about how much about the fact they had given money. After a year, it was £1.3 million, simply by people saying, I've just donated. Your website is never perfect, I know. Mine certainly isn't. But you can always tweak it. And if you're really lucky or clever, like the Norwegian Cancer Society, just improving your website's design, or the forms on it, can actually double the income from online giving. Beata Sorum at the Norwegian Cancer Society managed to double income just by improving the look and feel and length of fields, text fields, on their website. I'm not saying you could necessarily do that, but there is always a way of making sure the site works better.